I'm killing time now so that we can adjust the microphone situation. Apologies for the delay. We've had AV. Welcome to the University of North Texas at Dallas in this beautiful steel building. We had a quick reset of our AV equipment during our setup, and it's affected our microphone. So bear with us. The AV team is going to create a temporary setup so that you will be able to hear our panelists. And I also have an AV team set up by Troy Knowles, who has a handheld mic, whom each presenter will be able to speak in this presentation so that it will be captured on video. So we will have this videotape. You can hear it. It's just not to my vision with everything working at the same time. Thank you all very much for your patience, and please forgive the lack of technical things on it. Apologies. Is that cool?
That's all right, man.
Great. Thank you. Can we have our panelists please arrive on the stage? And I would also like to have dignitaries, particularly Councilwoman Blair, State Senator West, and I want to acknowledge all of our other elected officials here. Can y'all come up? Please come up down around and sit at the chair. Teacher. Your thing. Oh, you gotta have a seat up. You gotta have it. All right. Video, are we ready? Can we start it so we can at least have a great video production? We ready? Great. Welcome, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the African American Leadership Institute Economic Development Forum, Part 2. This is the Southern Surge, building the future of North Texas. I am honored. My name is chair of this esteemed organization. And before we get started, I would like to have two elected officials who are representing our districts at the local level and at the state level make remarks. Councilwoman Lori Blair, serving District 8 of the City of Dallas, and Senator Royce West, State Senator serving District 23. And before they make remarks, I want to acknowledge the former councilman and former Mayor Pro Tem, Chanel Atkins, for all today.
Thank you, Mr. Houston. Thank you, Mr. Houston. Thank you for having me here. As we know that District 8, the southern sector of Dallas, is our economic engine for what we will use in order to grow the city of Dallas. If we want ourselves and our neighborhoods to be viable, we have to figure out a way to keep us growing and to grow with the opportunities that will give us the services we want, grocery stores and the such. But this opportunity here today is for us to sit to talk amongst ourselves about what's going on, what we want to see, opposed to what you're seeing, and so that we as leaders in this district will be able to share their vision and their desires so that it's not just what one person wants, but what we all want and where we can all enjoy living. With that, thank you very much, Mr. Houston, and I'll hand it over to my buddy, my friend, State Senator Boyce.
I want to say good morning to you. I want to say good morning to each and every one of you. Now, nice seeing you also, sir. You know, when I look at what we're doing here around UNT Dallas, I want to take you back and make certain that you kind of get the full context of where we are and what we're doing. Eddie Bernice Johnson was the state senator, the Senate District 23 before I was state senator. And she had visions in terms of what we should be doing in the state of Texas. Those visions dealt with economic development, government services, education, and let me part of education. We talked about higher education. While we did not have a public higher education institution in the city of Dallas, at that time we were the 8th or 9th largest city in the country. And obviously everyone on Congress. And with those conversations that we had about higher education, I wanted to make sure that I kept those conversations alive. My first foray into providing higher education in Dallas was to attempt to get Paul Quinn to allow the state to take it over and provide public access and resources to Paul Quinn. That did not work out. My second foray was to see whether or not I could convince, and I didn't put a lot of energy behind it, I wanted to see whether or not I could convince Dallas College to turn over Cedar Valley and allow us to put 2 additional levels, junior and senior level courses there, to make that a state university. But we didn't really go down. We finally decided to work towards getting a state university and figure out exactly what system we would go in. And so we ultimately decided that we should go in to the University of Texas system. Hollis Bashir, some of you may not even know that, was the chair of the Dallas School Board at the time. And we had a higher education task force that he chaired. George Bush was governor of the state at that time. And we ultimately put what they call the System Center right there off of Hampton, where Harmony was currently situated. Bush was there along with Al Lipscomb and Kirk and several of us decided to break ground. And from there, 15 years ago, we ultimately landed here at this particular site. This university has developed us. You've got to appreciate there may very well be 20 or 30,000 students here. 20 to 30,000 students here. Many of you will have the opportunity to be involved in the development around this site.
Yeah.
Well, the first person that spoke about this site is Robert Peter. And that we would think very seriously about building here in this particular area. It's been 15, 16, 17 years ago. One of the first public officials that ended up being a partner was Janelle Atkins. Because it's important that you have the representatives that have input into this process alive and to make certain that the developers understand. To now, Lori and myself always talk about, we do not need schizophrenic development around this university. We need to make certain that there's a plan, that everyone is on board in terms of executing the plan, but we need to be against it. Because we're building for the future. To the extent that that's where you are. And I'm trying to shortcut what we envisioned and attempting to do, and you're part of the team. Because we need team effort in order to realize the vision. Can you imagine with having 20, 30,000 students to be one of the largest employers in the city of Dallas? It will be a catalyst for economic development that you can't even visualize, but you can do a comparative analysis by looking at other cities that have similar sized universities. They'll be able to attract businesses, the manpower in order to power their businesses to much higher profit levels. And needless to say, being able to have a housing stock, multifamily, single family is important for the persons that will work here on this campus and in proximity there too. That's why you're important, because of the skill sets that you have and commitment that I know that you have to make certain this becomes a reality. So I appreciate everyone being here. I may have gone a little long, but I want to make certain that you had the context in terms of where we're going. Hopefully, where we're going. Thank you.
It wasn't long. I was just a cue, so that. No. No please over here. But maybe an eight. But anyway, I thank you for that context, and I thank you for level setting in terms of why this discussion is important. I also want to acknowledge all of the other community members, developers, contractors who are in political officials and consultants who are part of the development process, because it's really important as we develop south of I-30 that we work together so that we not only build southern Dallas, but we build the cities beyond our city limits to build a healthy North Texas ecosystem. And so I had a spiel for you, but our first presenter has time constraints, and I'd love for you to hear updates at the University Hills development. We have 4 developers here. First, give this panel a round of applause. Okay, oh great, good deal. And give a shout out to Troy Knowles, who's our AV extraordinaire. Okay, give it a check. Our very first, our first developer who's going to describe the updates of the project is Arthur Santamaria. I don't have his formal bio in front of me, but I've known Arthur for at least 7 years, 6 years or so, working in various projects here in Dallas. He originally it was entered into the real estate market through the Trammell Crow Company, working with Trammell Crow, and actively sought out this high energy visionary guy to just see what he can do. This is my perspective of this. And that individual was Mike Hope. Mike Hope he approached Mike Hope if he could work with him on what vision he was sold on when he spoke to him years ago, and he pursued it. And from that point, They became business partners, and he is the main architect of what you see University Hills operating, the 280 acres that is currently moving adjacent to Mr. Petrie's property on Wheatland Road. So, Mr. Arthur Santamaria, please give us a synopsis or an update of your project, and then move time before you leave. You have a flight. I would definitely respect your time. Please stay here as long as close to 12:30 as you can. All right? Thank you. Mr. Arthur Santamaria.
Great. Thank you very much, Matt, and my apologies for my exit. I'll need to make it here a little early, perhaps. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and share about our project in Southern Dallas. Just right here, kind of outside the window, it's even visible. We're very passionate about having impact in the community through the projects that we invest in at Hope Global. And Matt's right about sort of that vision setting that my boss, Mike Koch, has, and I think has built a reputation for. So our goal with University Hills is for it to be a catalyst. The idea is for if the 280 acres is the only thing that's built, and we're successful with the development, that's not good enough. The idea is for it to lead to a whole lot more, and that is in surrounding properties and really the greater Southern Dallas story. We really don't have a development of this kind of scale and style, if you will, in Southern Dallas yet. No, like what you see here with the homes and with the mixed use and with like a town center. You can name all the northern suburbs that you like, and Irving, Richardson, Plano, etc. Many great examples of this walkable and nice sort of development. And why isn't it happening here in Southern Dallas? So we want to be a part of the change agent towards that. I think it's important to note and to thank really the shoulders that we are on that is making this possible. And I think Senator West hit the note really well in his intro to our program of the education component. And I think Mr. Petrie, being very active in the community for many years to bring infrastructure down here, such critical elements that project like this wouldn't be possible, but that you see being a recipe for success in other communities. So that's now happening in Southern Dallas, and so all of us here are on the shoulders of the children before us. So with University Hills, we are very much into construction right now. We are doing the infrastructure. That is the first thing that has to get done. It's less exciting stuff. No, we talk about sewers and drainage and water supplies and things like that. But this 280 acres did not have that. No, there were kind of major lines around us nearby, but they weren't. The site was not lit up, as is a phrase often used in real estate. But now, through a very kind of thoughtful partnership with the City of Dallas and former Mayor Pro Tem Tina Atkins and now Councilmember Blair are very integral part of that process of bringing that infrastructure. And there's a public-private component there that it's a big lift. So that infrastructure construction is well underway. We'll be delivering the first lots in the 580 home single-family component of the project. Probably early next year is the outlook right now. And then we are currently working on teaming up the kind of town center heart of the development. There's some multifamily pieces we're also working on that are kind of on the edges and things, but this is kind of what we're more excited about, like creating a great walkable urban kind of area. So we're starting in this area here. The infrastructure for it is part of this current phase 1 that is under construction, and then our goal is to keep that going and continue building towards the highway. So this is an image of kind of that town center, like what I was pointing to right at the end there. Our plan is to have a hotel, office space, and then multifamily that supports it. with a great water feature that activated. If you've ever been to the Sound, it's one of the components of the Cypress Waters development in Capel, Dallas area. There's done a tremendous job with this water features, an amphitheater, there's this big fountain in the middle of the restaurants and patios. So that's the idea here. It's creating this really kind of walkable, activated area that then connects to the street and continues on the future blocks of the development that goes beyond that. Also in this phase, we're working on an office component. So ideas to bringing jobs to Southern Dallas and good paying jobs, quality jobs. Our goal is to really kind of continue the efforts on that education front. Going back to that again, is there's our companies that may have things that are synergistic with the university, especially with this building we're in today, the STEM building, the science programs and sort of biotech, things like that, that can really be synergistic with all the great work that's already been happening here. There's 20 million square feet of warehouse space in Southern Dallas, as we all know. Perhaps some of those companies need a front office, and a place for amenities and restaurants and walkable area that, again, going back to, you have all these kinds of amenities on the northern side of our city, but really don't in Southern Dallas. So hoping to be a change agent towards that, and that's kind of our goal with the project. There's another imagery of kind of
Well, I
water.
have 2 more slides, I think, so.
That's it.
Oh, do your last slide one more time, so I can kill some time. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Ooh, there we go. Now we'll have Neil Shetty, who is not Terrence Smith.
I'm Terrence Clayton White.
Bald head is part of the bald head crew.
It was part of my admission process.
That's right.
So, morning everybody. Thank you for being here. I am Neil Shetty. I am Chief Investment Officer at Russell Glenn, a company founded by Terrence Maiden, who I'm sure many of you know. Him and Tim Maiden are very well known in the community. I think you've had me here. I know all the people on the panel, so it's great to see people that are developing in the area. Short segue, I'm originally from New Jersey. I lived in the Bay Area before that in Chicago, and I moved to Dallas. I've been here now for 18 years. One of the most curious things about this city that I could not understand for the longest time is why development happened north, but not south. And that sole inquisition is why I sought out Terrence Maiden to start working on solving that retail inequality that's happened in the southern sector of Dallas. And that's why all of these projects are great for developing the southern sector that's needed. And I think people like Robert Petrie and Canal Atkins and Lori Blair and Darren Gracie have all been very helpful in getting these projects off the ground. So our project is the Rivulet. It is literally catty corner to the University of North Texas, Dallas here. We own the 90 acres at the northwest intersection. There you can see it right. Apologies. There we are right there, the 90 acres at the northwest corner. And we're sitting right here. It is half a mile that way. And then you've got Arthur's project with Hope Global right over here. So you can see there's a lot of new development happening, which is needed and great for this community in this area. And of course, you've got the Redwood Mall project just about 5 miles to the west, which, as you may know, is owned by Peter Brodsky and Terrence Maiden is co-developing. So here you can see, so our project, like I said, is 90 acres, just like Arthur's site. It's a greenfield site. This project would not be possible without incentives from the city of Dallas. So we bought our project in 2022. It took us some time and some work, but we acquired $23 million from the city of Dallas to help put in the utilities, the roadways, clear the trees, just to be able to develop the vertical components of the project. Here we go. Here you can see our project. The first phase is obviously all the horizontal work, just like Arthur is working on at Oak Global on their University Hill project. The first phase is going to be to clear the trees and put in all the roadways and utilities on the site. And we're already under contract for 160 of the single-family lots. There's going to be a total of 320 detached homes for sale in our community. So between our community and University Hills, you're going to have 1,000 new houses in this area. 1,000 new houses. That's awesome. There hasn't been new single-family development in this area for 40, 50 years. So we're bringing new at-scale single-family development, which is really what's needed to kind of help solve for that retail inequality piece. We're planning for 100 to 150,000 square feet of retail, and that will include a grocery store. God willing. So right now, we are working through our horizontal. The first phase is the horizontal work. The vertical component will be the single family, and we've got 240 for-rent multifamily units that will go up shortly after that, in parallel with the single family. And then the third phase will be the retail. Retail follows the rooftops. So encourage your family and friends to seek out these houses. We're targeting prices in the low 300s, which is phenomenal. You can go up to Salina and buy a house for $350, and that's an hour and a half north of downtown. We're 15, 20 minutes from downtown. This is going to be awesome for this community. Here you can see some renderings of what the commercial space will look like. And you can see we very intentionally created a sort of a linear park through the center of the property, kind of leading you to the UNT Dallas campus to create that sort of pedestrian corridor and make it very pedestrian friendly. In fact, we're having NetCog reduce the lanes of traffic on University and Camp Wisdom, so reduce the free turn lanes to help ease pedestrian traffic through the intersection, which will help kind of create that really nice pedestrian sort of intersection and help this education corridor feel more unified between all the different projects that are happening. That's it.
Thanks, Bill, appreciate it. Next, we have a developer who has just broken ground on our project on Lancaster Road. And this is someone who's been doing this. She's from the community, who was in the thick in the real estate development project space. And so I want her just to talk a little bit about Pearl Ridge and talk about what we've heard from both Arthur and Neil in terms of their phasing in the development project and how that matched yours. In fact, you were at City Hall earlier today, so.
Sure.
There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you all. My name is Maggie Parker, originally from Dallas, and just happy to be doing this work in Dallas. I have a company called Innovative Neighborhoods, where we focus on community-oriented development. And really, right now, all of that looks like public-private partnerships with local governments on residential subdivisions. So we're doing projects here in Dallas and in Fort Worth. My development, Pearl Ridge, before I start, I cannot be remiss by thanking Senator West for all the legwork that has been put into place. Former Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Atkins, current Councilwoman Blair, they worked me hard. They worked me hard, okay? But we're here. Present, well, you know, we spent some years together, but their names on this project too. I want to also thank Mr. Petrie as well as Councilman Thomas for y'all's work as well. But a little bit about this project.
No,
Okay.
it's okay.
But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to Neil's slide because my site is on his slide.
There you go.
So, okay, so there's Riverlet, there's University Hills. I'm at this corner here. Okay, so at the corner of Lancaster Road and Crouch. So when you talk about the synergy between the projects, it really is a lot of great momentum that's happening over here when we talk about raising capital, going to the city and the county for funds. We can talk about the work that's occurring simultaneously. So Pearl Ridge is a development that came through the city's 1,000 Unit Challenge. They put up lots near transit in order to look for mixed income development as transit-oriented development. Submitted for that RFP in 2021. and really, went through the process of saying, what did we think the community wanted? Then we had to change it all over again. And now we have something that is backed by the neighborhood, which is, it's a 16-acre site, so we're in the lower end of these guys, but we're doing 200 homes. And think of like that missing middle product that everybody talks about. So townhomes, single family detached, all for sale. That was important feedback that we heard from the community as well. And this is truly a public-private partnership, so has City of Dallas as well as Dallas County involved in the deal. We have a lot of kind of open space area, amenity center, a really great builder that we're working with. It's just like, I think, building some high quality homes as well. And I'm excited about it. So when Matt talks about us being in the thick of it, as much as I thought we would have closed our land by now, I was signing the docs today. So when you see me look at my phone, I'm trying to see if the title company said the money went through. But we did our groundbreaking in end of March, and when I say we will literally be turning dirt in like the next week and a half, we will. So that's what I got going on. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. And last, but certainly not least, is someone who I've known on the advocacy front of the community for over 10 years. But it took me teaching here at UNT Dallas and working with several economic development professionals where I heard Chris Keith Williams' name again. And he's a construction builder, a home builder, who's building infill developments. Infill are essentially open vacant lots within an established community or a development, building from the ground up that has an existing neighborhood around it. He is responsible, he's partnering with several key leaders here and built over 25 homes in this area, correct? Or so? How many?
42.
42. Sorry, my bad. Dyslexic. I flipped that. Over 42 homes in District 8. And so I want you to talk to us about CK management and how you're not only building homes, but you're providing access for our community members to be a part of the development process.
Thank you, Matt. My name is Chris Key, and I've been in Dallas since 2007. And we started out just working in politics and doing campaigns and doing advocacy. But I ended up getting involved in home building, working with a lot with community members around here. And then I ended up building one house in South Dallas, actually 3 homes in South Dallas proper. And then from there, we started working with the city in our land bank land transfer programs. So once we did that, we did the first 15 in District 4. And then we ended up talking to Mr. Atkins, my neighbor, and he was like, you should come and just stay where you stay in the good houses. Why the hell you can house over there? So, and basically there was a conversation.
You actually quote.
That was a true statement. So we said we're going to come to District 8, and Mr. Atkins and Mr. Price came in and put infrastructure in 5 Mile District. 5 Mile District, where we stayed over here, they didn't have no water, well, I don't say no water. They had,
Outdated.
well, no. It was a lot of places that didn't have water. And then it didn't have sewer, it was on septic tanks. So Mr. Atkins and the county, they came in and put water pipes on Goose Pump, Giving Hill, and I guess it's in the show space. Everybody's having a good time, eating some food, everything's going really well. We thank y'all for your time, and we want to see all you guys' faces today. And I'll tell the answer. That's a good job. I'm trying to add it. Truthfully, what we do is work with, we buy on-market properties the market rates, and then we still sell them for a lot of affordable rates. We work with, like I said, the Councilwoman Blair, she just came to see my river cousins, and we got 100 homes that we're doing over here in 5 now. We did 40, 1,200 doing our phase 3, but we're doing 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garages, and there's nobody have moved into the homes that has been nothing less than $75,000 worth of equity moving in. And so for me, my space in this is making sure that people that look like me neighborhoods with equity, and then make sure they understand the value of what's going on. And like I said, Mr. Atkins, my neighbor, so him and I, he'll be out walking 5 o'clock in the morning, picking up nails on the side of the street and all that stuff. And, you know, but he'd talk to me about what it means before the area grew and impact. And it was all woods. My dad, 89, me and Mr. Atkins still hang out. You know, he'll come talk to check on him, but the whole deal is there was nothing over there, it was all woods. So they were to work in the 5-mile area, and then seeing people that lived in apartments on Surrey Road and Johnson Village, right by my house, and we able to put them in houses that work everyday jobs, you know what I'm saying? And then with the city subsidies, like $50,000, and the other first-time buyer stuff, so you get to see kids from apartments, now they live in their houses with backyards, St. Augustine grass, nice countertop, you know, stuff like that, and then they have equity moving in, so we don't get price. And also the Catholic Church, Mr. Joe Gidgen, that's my guy. They not take no offense, they stay working with us, so it's a different value for me. We might make barely much on the homes, but we see what's happening inside the community, and it actually changing the people in the community. And right now we got the next 20 houses on 15th Street. There was nothing on 15th Street but 3 houses. The whole entire street is homes now. Plumdale, same thing, the whole entire street is homes. Boots, same thing, the whole entire street is homes. These are all new homes. And for me, I'm pushing homes. If people get homes and be like me that who they never had an opportunity. And if it weren't for the city and the county, they wouldn't have the opportunity to get these homes still because of the down payment assistance programs. And then we got the right people fighting and say, no, get these homes for these developers. And then on another note, and I'm gonna say this, was at one point in time, for black developers like myself, we could not even get into the program. You know what I'm saying? You had to be somebody else with a lot more money. And you had to buy 50 houses and up at the time, 50 lots and up. So once we came to Mr. Atkins, Councilman Thomas and them, they championed for smaller developers. We get 1 to 5 developments. And I was one of the first recipients of the 1 to 5 development, and it just increased to more and more. So I appreciate y'all brothers, and the people that we put in the house appreciate y'all. And this is Mr. West, Senator, he always been around it. So this y'all area, I just got to be a part of it. But more so, it makes me happy to see people that look like me getting houses and kids putting in backyards, and now we just hooked up a pool company and they getting pools in their houses in the neighborhood. So that's what I'm at with.
Appreciate that, Chris. And so I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm not going to go up that step again. I'm going to ask my questions down here. What we've heard from our 4 developers is partnership with government, community organizations, the other developers to help catalyze their vision into reality. And quite honestly, time, patience, and prayer is what I heard is kind of interwoven in y'all's stories. Starting with you, Arthur, as someone who's dealt with a project that's had multiple owners, had multiple visions, how did you and your team prepare for making this a reality? And what are you sharing with, and what is your team's expectations to be able to make University a great product?
Sure. No, great question. Thanks, Matt. I think part of it is sort of a similar process Maggie talked about. Was you try a concept, you show a community, we're fine, and it's certainly part of the process. No, but the key word there is community, and it is engaging with local officials, with stakeholders that are in the area, Obviously, the university, we spent a lot of time studying the campus plan. Put up the Neil slide. It was really
I love it when other developers love other people's slides. It's pretty cool. It's kind of competition as well. Man, your architect is better than mine.
Honestly, it's that kind of engagement and, working with people that, in this case, the university, with council members, with folks that are, active in the community and getting feedback as we go. Being good neighbors with other local developers doing other big projects nearby and just things like this, where we can kind of exchange ideas and kind of learn more. So I'd say, even University Hills, like our concept plan, the site plan up there, it's evolved, it's changed a number of times. I know Mayor Pro Tem Atkins will remember many times we adjusted and refined, and he worked as hard as well. And that's the way it should be. I think, let's see, I live kind of, sorry. I live in District 3, so I'm not right in the community. So I would say we're a guest in the community. We acquired property. There was another developer with a different vision. I think that vision, people wanted to see something different, and that's why we were asked to come in. But really, that's an approach we take, I think, with all of our projects, is really listen to the community, what the priorities are, what the goals are, things like grocery, things like homes, what type of homes, and try to create a plan that can address those goals and refine it. There's certainly a level of underwriting and financials and market, and we do a lot of that analysis. That's kind of the technical things that we do. But starting with the community is really always the important piece.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And thank you for your team for picking up the baton and continuing, because there's a lot of work done through Councilman Atkins' office, appointed officials, community members who were a part of master plans for this community, so that we can make sure our history, our legacy is preserved. And as a developer, I appreciate you for obliging and not. Neil, with your project, you've had the most recent news, I guess a few months ago, of approving your infrastructure with the city. Talk to us about that process. Imagine we are all aspiring developers and we want to make some significant impact, and we know we have to go through economic development and other agencies. What would you advise developer, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, on what to do?
Patience. Patience. So we bought the land in February of 2022. City Council approved the $23 million that we're to receive at the end of 2025. Give you a rough time frame of how things went down. And we've been pursuing getting the economic grants even before we purchased the property. I understand, because Arthur touched on this a little bit as well. These greenfield sites, it's almost like a development tax. To be able to put in the infrastructure work on our site is $40 million worth of work. So as where Chris Keith over here is doing infill development on sites that have water, or some cases don't have water, don't have sewer. But most of the people that are building houses, they have water, they have sewer, they have electric already, and they have gas. We have to come in and put in all of that infrastructure work just to be able to then sell lots to a home builder to then build houses. So there's that kind of penalty of developing in southern Dallas, and then I got to pay a fee to remove the trees that are on the site that have just been growing. It is no small feat. I would say, there's a couple tips. It knows with the patients, right? It's developing your plan properly, working with your city officials and your community to understand, hey, what are the things that you want to develop, and are these things economically feasible? Just because you want the thing doesn't mean you can have the thing. It's it's understanding the plan and the time frame that it'll take to do those things successfully within the economic constraints. I think, as Arthur mentioned, we had gone through on our site, I've lost count of how many different site plans we've gone through. I think there was, back in the day, originally we had a school that was planned for the site, the northern portion of the site. But we listen to feedback, we hear what our council members and our representatives and the community says and say, hey, we don't want for rent, we want for sale houses. So we changed up our plan from for rent townhomes to for sale 30-foot wide single family lots. Because that's what will help build wealth in the community. That's how this works. It's an iterative process. I come from a commercial institutional background that worked with Goldman Sachs, First Industrial, CBRE, and large
But before we get started on your project, I want you to talk about your background and how you were able to get inside this development space through your schooling, through Trek, and being able to support other businesses in the community that you've helped through the Trek Community Investors Fund to help kickstart in other neighborhoods.
Yes, sir. So background from a school perspective, I did a lot of urban studies, so I was always very curious about cities. I've lived on one side of town in Dallas and went to school on another, so I really saw where your location, where you lived, right, where you grew up, set a huge tone for what you even thought was possible in your life. And so for me, that's where location, communities, neighborhoods, how they change, how they grow, all of those dynamics I became very intrigued by. Ended up with doing my master's at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. I did city and regional planning and public administration. So really, again, curious about how cities change and how local governments are a part of that. From there, I moved back to Dallas in 2015, worked at the Real Estate Council. They had started a loan fund to finance community-based real estate projects. And so I was the first hire for that. I did that for about 4 years. Helped a lot of folks either get financing or training to get financing. And did a large grant around equitable development. Started in our neighborhoods in 2019 in partnership with Matthew Southwest. And so the thought around that was, how do I ensure that there is capacity around this work? Because I wanted to be able to do it at scale. But also, I know how long these catalytic projects take. And so I wanted to make sure that I had the backing to do that as well. So Matthews has been a great partner from that standpoint. In the midst of me doing these developments, I've started an initiative called the Community Developers Roundtable. So I support other community-based developers, helping them grow their capacity, so they've raised funds for them to do, train their staff, to support them working with CPA and tax consultants. We do this in Dallas and Fort Worth, have worked with 31 developers to date. And currently working on an equity fund for those developers. So we're really making sure that other people, and we're growing this pipeline of folks that look, that are operating in the same way that this panel is operating, because we need more people to do deals like this, right? Like, if it's gonna take all of us 5 years to do the first step, then it needs to be 20 of us trying to do the first step, in order for us to be successful and to see, a lot of momentum. And so I think it's a lot of hard work, and I want to see other people doing it. So that's what we do with the roundtable work, and that feeds into how we look at this site with Pro Ridge and other projects that we're doing together.
Thanks, Maggie. I appreciate that. Chris, You mentioned earlier the types of partnerships that you've had to work with in order to get the infill projects going. What's your vision, what's your long-term goal for CK Management Inc. In terms of building not only here but abroad?
Well, first here, because this is where I'm at, and I met a lot of people here, and this is my home. So, like I said, I grew up in apartments, just straight to the chase. So my deal is to make sure that anybody that wants a chance to get into a home, get in a home with, there's in different tax brackets, lower tax bracket. And I'm saying here now, the next move is I was speaking with Justin Taylor, my partner, and he works with entities. So our next move is to get with Williams Chicken and restaurants that's in the community, and they have pretty much a good solid hold point in the community, and different restaurants around the area that if you've been working in your restaurant, if you've been in a restaurant for 5 years, right, or something like that, most of these other people can't get into homes. So our deal is saying we're going to start targeting people like that. It's better to get into homes instead of just renting, trying to pay. Because they're paying rent already, $2,000 rent, so you might as well get in the house. So we want to work with businesses and small businesses and people who say, hey man, I've been working here for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? I was at the Williams Chicken on 6-7 River, and I was talking to the lady, and she was like, could you still doing houses? Yeah, so we was able to just get a apply for her. And the first job I ever got was at Family Dollar when I moved to Dallas, Texas. 2007 was at Family Dollar in a Glendale shopping center. Ms. Blair and I, we did the ribbon cutting on Castlebar. The lady was a manager there. She just got our house with us. My first house. So she was $125 for every moving in. So that's what I want to continue doing for CK Member Service here, and then we expanded to Georgia and did the same program. They had the same program out there. So I just met with Christopher Block yesterday on Zoom and Georgia Banking Company, and they was obliged to work with us on spending the same thing we do in Dallas as a model in Georgia. So to me, that's the footprint. I want to stay in that space. I don't want to build big houses like these guys are building, but these guys are great what you need for growth and with economic impact. My mission is to build homes and make sure that people who like me are able to have homes, and they can have equity in their homes and understand how they can shift their lives. So now they say, well, I can pull $50,000 out to start a business for me and my kids and stuff like that. So that's my space in development, and continue doing that.
That's good. Now, I appreciate you and all the work that you're doing, particularly with the entrepreneurial one as an entrepreneurship professor and a background in business creation for community growth. Thank you for putting in that hard work. I want to ask, my last question will be open to all panelists, but I want to angle it to Arthur first, because I want to be respectful of the time. I want to talk about home ownership. We talked about, I've heard a couple of you all discuss the accessibility for first-time homeowners, or wanting to create a product so that there can be wealth generation in this community, particularly in the education corridor. What are you all doing, particularly in your projects, at whatever phase? It could be conceptual, Maddie, because you're not as far along as University Hills, for example. We're not putting you all on the spot. I don't think anyone from the news outlet, that's not that type of party here today. This is a conversation amongst the community so that we can know and be excited about what's happening. What are some opportunities people can be a part of to participate in home ownership of your all's developments?
Good question, thank you, Matt. And I think we have a good answer on ours. It was actually thoughtful during our planning process of the home ownership component, in particular for first-time homeowners. So there's a part of our program with the city is the first-time homeowner assistance program, which is actually citywide. We have sort of a copy-paste version of that within our TIF district. So within the University Hills development for first-time homeowners, and it's funded through our project, and it'll provide a 20,000.
Wait, you said funded through your project. Who's funding it? So I just need to know the number.
Sure.
Who has that money?
Well, it's increment, so it's the
Okay.
way tax increment financing works, it's the structure of the incentive package, no?
So you essentially need to have infrastructure and buildings so you generate tax.
Generate a growth in tax.
There you go.
So that growth, that increment, no? Over the years, that's what is funding this program. The TIF already has funds, so we're able to sort of, pay out before that increment has happened, but that is where it comes from. And it will provide $20,000 of first-time homebuyer assistance for folks in University Hills with 580 homes we're building. In addition, we're working with Bank of America. They have a first-time home buyer assistance program as well that provides up to $10,000. So we're partnering with them. It's a program they do widely, but we're kind of coupling it with what we're doing with the city because this wealth creation and home ownership is such a key component to long-term, generational financial success. I think we've seen that from generations on, and it's important to create a mechanism for that with developments happening in Southern Dallas.
Thank you. And I do want to give another shout out to former Councilman Tanell Atkins because that TIF district was actually, it's a unique tool, it's a barbell TIF. You stated that there's already money in the district. There's still nothing that's taxable, that's incremental on the surface yet, but there was a district that was being developed in North Dallas, near UT Dallas, that was a faster growing area and tied in a TIF zone so that tax increment from originally grounds just like this, the sales of all of the homes, single-family homes that were there, that tax increment goes to a bucket that can help fund the infrastructure. So, Councilman Atkins, thank you for providing that type of, he called this, have the tools in the toolkit type way. But that's the long-term plan that is hard to see in economic development. So, thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for you and your project at the University of Hills to provide that type of incentive for first-time homeowners. Neil, Maggie, do y'all have anything you all like to add?
I'll go ahead and bounce out, guys. I have a flight to catch, but thank you for having me here.
Okay, thank you. Opportunity by sharing your email to the group. Okay, thank you. Have a good flight.
So we're talking about home ownership. So I'll talk a little bit about our project. So on our deal, a percentage of the homes are income restricted, so close to 40% of the homes. And knowing that, when you have some of those restrictions with the local government, the timeline to either qualify or manage some of those restrictions can be a little bit difficult. So we've actually created a whole team and a nonprofit that we're partnering with and created to do this, where we're already working with people now on their home ownership journey. And so we're bringing this collaboration of banks, so lenders, various banks, various housing counseling agencies, and as we are making connections with folks around this development, keeping up with them to help them get through the process of either getting their credit fixed or understanding the pathways and options that they have for different financing tools. We're really not there to do all the things, but there is an ecosystem of support, whether it's down payment assistance or training for folks. And so we're being very intentional about that work even now, because we want to make sure that if it takes you a year to get ready to purchase a home, you already are in that process, right? Like by the time we have a house, there will be people who will have already been working on this for a long period of time. So for us, it's about that early stage intentionality and bringing in all of those partnerships. And we're doing that for Pearl Ridge and other projects as well.
Thank you, thank you.
That's good, man. I like that. For us, what we do is, of course, a lot of our projects are AMI based. And so when you say that, it's an area of medium income. And right now, I think they give you you can go to like 285, 290 on the house. So what we do is we give $40,000 back. So we don't go over 240 on our house. So we want to make sure that we provide $40,000 at least worth of equity moving in from our company alone. So that's $40,000 per house that we don't get, and we can get 42 houses. So we do that, and then we make sure it's stackable with the city program up to 50. And then from there, the first time home buyers get up to 10 to 15,000. When they first time, then they got a zip code fund, they give you up to like $7,000 for the zip code, which is 75241. So when we do that, that's why most of our buyers come in with anywhere from $75,000 to $125,000 worth of equity in the homes that we push out. So for me, that's a win for me and blessing to whoever. So I like to continue that part. And what we do an outreach program called the Builders Roundtable, where we do those every time we get a list of homes from the city or our new batches that we buy ourselves. We'll start going around those and we'll put those out. And we start getting people pre-qualified. And we work with bankers, builders, and buyers. And what we do is make sure all of our other builder friends is infill building. We put them in a place where we say, hey man, we're already making money. We know the markup on the construction. So how can we make sure that you guys make sure people come in on the equity? So we got a little coalition of builders that's working hard with us on that. For our CK Management Services and the Notre Dame Place Catholic Church, we make sure that we give up to $40,000 out of our own pocket on the construction costs up front to be able to build a neighborhood and get people homes when they move in equity. So not just the city matching $50,000, we drop the $40,000 on top of $50,000.
Exactly. That's great. No, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being creative and trying to find, creating a housing stock that can allow homeowners to qualify for those programs. Because creating that stack, just like a developer, creating a capital stack, you need to find a way for people to have affordability for homes.
Yes. One more thing, most of our houses, or I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna brag on this, we got a gangster back. And most of our houses come with washer and dryer, and we bought toilet paper. So, I mean, literally, you gotta do them bring your love, your furniture, and your clothes. We bought gas line boards for people and put one TV in there. Because most of the people that come to the homes,
I've been in one of the homes.
yeah,
TV's posted up.
yeah, most of the people that come to the home, they're home broke, because they didn't put their last dollars. So our goal is, we put a $100 gift card in the refrigerator, and our goal is to say, when you move in for the first 60 days to 90 days, you don't have to buy nothing, we just take care of your home and set your place. So that's what we do for our program. We should be quiet about it.
That's good. We're going to 2010. I bought my first house. The first purchase was a couch and my TV for a month and a half. And so, thank you for that. We have refreshments, and I also want to give you all time for question and answer. I'll have my intern, Kitana, Larry, please come up, pick up this microphone, and if anyone has a question, please raise your hand. Again, this is not a court of law. This is a community meeting so that we can community build. We have our first question from our senator. As you all are getting questions, please feel free to get refreshments. But thank you all for being here. Let's continue the discussion and learn more.
This to the whole panel, as it relates to all of your properties are for sale and not for rent. And so the question in my mind is, are there any covenants that prevent you or future landowners, property owners, from renting the property, and if so, for how many years?
For us, it's a 5 to 7 year run. So you gotta be in the house since 5 to 7 years before they can sell the property. but, or rent it out, and I don't think most people want to rent it, but, 5 to 7 years, they decide to sell the house.
And that's in the documents?
Yes, sir, that's on the deed.
Ours is similar, 15 years, and saying they have to, if you do sell, it has to be to another income restricted buyer, and it has to be their permanent residence.
No, that's sell, I'm talking about rent.
Oh, no one's renting for us, it's all for sale for us.
No, hold on. The question is, secondary one.
Secondary part.
Yeah, so he's talking about, yeah, can they rent it out? So,
Sorry, it has to be their primary residence, so they cannot rent it out, like, they have to buy it as their primary residence.
Hold on. What I'm asking is that something in the contract, the sale of the property, that they cannot rent it out and it's sold for a period of time?
That 15-year time frame. It's in the deed, yes.
so we're not deed restricting but we have what do you call it, homeowner association. And within the homeowner association documents, which we're negotiating right now, we're including provisions to prevent rentals. So a homeowner can buy it, there's no deed restriction that I know of, they can deed restrict property being rented once a homeowner owns it, but the homeowner association will prevent that, and that's a management prevention. I will say, we do have 4 rents on our property, our multifamily project, 240 multifamily units, including studio and 1 and 2 bedrooms. They have been, 50% of the units will be 80% AMI or better. We don't have any capital affordable on our single family for sale, but our approach in general was to lower the price of the lots as much as humanly possible through the city incentive to make the net price of the home, so you pay for land and the home when you buy a property, when you buy this property. So we lowered the land price as much as possible for the home builders, so they can then pass that savings on to their individual.
Okay.
Mr. Brown.
First, I just want to.
No, we might want to put it to that.
First, I want to say, Mr. Keith did see a comment years ago, I put on my Facebook page, I thought you were changing the game for the real estate. Where you used to have those builders round tables over at, Redbird,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
The 31.
30th March, yeah, I thought it
Is
was.
that our rank? People
Yeah,
know
I
that
thought
our
you, now I want
rank.
to congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
Also, Ms. Parker, I tried to attend your groundbreaking, there was so many people and so many cars. I was like walk a mile to come back to the site, so I just had to pass it up. I congratulate you on that also. I want to also compliment, I'm not kidding, Mr. Petrie, because I think he's the reason that all this activity, in my opinion, he's the reason that all this activity is taking place. And he had to be very tenacious to keep it up. I know people got sick of hearing him, but I would go to Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce and other places. Mr. Petrie was always one that got up and he walked on this area. So I know he's gone now, but I want to congratulate him. I want to be Mr. Petrie for the African American real estate agent. When Mayor Robbins brought out that Grow South campaign, I told them, we had a state meeting, I said, oh, this is going to be a boom for black real estate agents, because they're talking about building in our neighborhood. So far, everything almost that happened, we got left out again. First, we couldn't join NAR, Metrotex. We finally got that, but now we can't get people to use us. We got a group, I know Mr. Parker, they talked to you, a group called NARAB, meets every third Friday over at Luke's Cafeteria. Hungry agents, please, all of y'all that are developers, try to use some African American real estate agents if you can. Not saying make it a monopoly, but try to use them if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Yes. It was 1 second. So we give you.
I just want to know how much is the community itself going to be involved in actually the building, the growing, the actual job opportunities that comes with all these developments. You know, we all the university campus, right? If you walk around these job sites, when it comes to the money making side of it, of the worker side, you don't see us. Are we gonna set up programs, especially since we're on college campus, to have more of our children in trades? You know, the issues we have in this community with crime and things like that. A lot of these kids need jobs as in labor, things like that. Are we gonna have it there? Some of these kids who do community service, are they gonna be allowed to be a part of this? The reason why I'm asking this is because we can be consumers, but what part of us being a part of making the actual money? If we get these kids involved in the building, they can take pride in saying that I actually built this neighborhood. Then when you're a part of this, and I've seen other development happen, they want to protect what they build instead of destroy what they build. So I just want to know what part of, because some of these programs are big developments, it's gonna take 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years to build. So we have time to train these kids, you know, when it comes to designing these homes, are we gonna use these college kids to be the architects? Are they gonna be in the civil engineers in these programs? Because if we're gonna build the community, let's build the people in the community also. That's right. You know, are we gonna make these banks have financial literacy courses for our people? So I live in Frisco, right? Every Saturday at YMCA, there's a bank in there teaching these kids in somebody's community financial literacy. So are we going to demand these things when these companies come in? You know, like with CK with all these coming in, I work with them. Are we going to help our people get equity like you does, right? It's when you have these big companies coming in with 200, 300, 400 housing developments, right? Just imagine all these banks going to be helping these people and things of that nature. But I'm more concerned about the kids in the community and making sure they're part of growing this and not just being consumers.
That's a great, I appreciate you bringing that up. I'll let the developers answer, but I will make quick remarks on my perspective from the university standpoint. The university wants to be the pillar of activity in this particular area because currently UNT Dallas is leveraged to have the most influence in this area. They can have the councilwoman, they can have the senator, the president on this campus, can have access to them instantly. That's their circle. And what President Balashimba stated 2 years ago when he was interim president was that he wants all of the developments to work in cohesion together. Since he did that, he commissioned the School of Business, which has now moved to become the College of Business and Technology, to create an institute that focuses on technology, innovation, development, and entrepreneurship. That's going to be publicly announced this fall as the Tide Center. In that Tide Center, we've already created several programs to educate community members and students in urban planning through an entrepreneurial type of mindset. And we've also created an executive board of local community businesses and influencers in the Dallas community to help amplify that here for the School of Business, as we want to have that educational opportunity for particularly real estate and economic development programs for our students. That's from the university side. Also, because large projects like University Hills, Rivulet, and even programs like Pearl Ridge or projects that Chris is managing, because of their involvement with the city of Dallas and economic development, it's the part of transparency that we have to work to make sure the system works for it. The infrastructure is there. It takes me as a professor and as a consultant to make sure I trust the system to move forward. It takes the developers to be able to trust in this system, which they have shown more than most developers I know in the space. They're doing what we call triple bottom line things here. Like these are social entrepreneurial things.
these aren't just cutthroat, you try to get the best margins to make this project work. They really they have put their love into this project so that the community can work. And with them partnering with the city, creates that type of transparency so that we can have community meetings for that to happen. I'll make a commitment on the UNT Dallas side to build as we were growing. I would love to hear what the developers would like to say with this space.
So, as a developer, I mean, we can't train, but I encourage students who are interested in getting into the trade, which we need more of. God help us. DISD's got a great vocational training program called Career Institutes. They are fantastic. If you have not seen one, they are amazing. They're great opportunities for high school students to go learn a trade and then go get an internship to actually make money when they graduate high school to get into trades and actually potentially make six figures. We as a developer turn to associations like the DFW MSDC to find minority-owned supply companies. That's plumbers, electricians, carpenters, civil engineers, to source and bid on our projects. I can't control who bid, I can control who bid, but we encourage that, and that's part of our development process, to go out and seek minority construction companies and plumbers, electricians, to come bid on our projects. Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how everyone should do it.
Yeah, that's another question, an issue.
All right, it is in that. So for me, I kind of look at it in a couple of different ways. I think that when we talk about inclusion in the overall development process, there's kind of, when we think about hiring of contractors, to me that's one route. But then there's also like the folks you just decide that's going to be on your team from the beginning, that you've been networking with and working with. So for me, I've tried to be intentional on both ends. Right now, we're working with a couple different, our landscape architect as well as our marketing communications lead are both African American, as well as our land development consultant, and a couple other parties, but those are the three that I say have big roles on our deals, or on this deal specifically at Pearl Ridge. And when we talk about from a contractor standpoint, that is, as we go along, being intentional about who the subcontractors are, and as I'm managing the GCs, like who they are looking to with their suppliers. So I think there's kind of both ends of how we look at who gets engaged. Otherwise, it's people interning with me or just trying to learn as we go along.
For me, I'm in a bigger space than these developers. I don't have to do a grand big development. So what I do personally, I can hire people on the street. Straight up, like, if you got your stuff and you do shit, I'm gonna give you a shot. And now I done got hit across the head with some of my own people. But they don't stop me from keep on hiring. Like my carpenter, my roofer, my HVAC guy. And then also, we just take brothers who we want to work and we just let them make money. And a lot of people need today money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they might not have the time to get to the classes, so they'll just come learn. So I just tell people, just pull up and learn. Fit your schedule. And it's been actually worked for me really good. Some fall through the cracks, but overall, I know right now, my son, he quit his job to go to training, electric training. 3 of his friends, now they in the class for HVAC and electric and plumbing. So what I do with them is I just hire them all as project managers. I pay them $10,000 a house. And so they get to go to school, learn how to build a house, and then all the other components of it, and be able to work and get hands-on studies. So I have my electrician, he worked with my electrician. You know what I'm saying? And the other plumber, he come in with Saeed, learn how to plumb. One of my other good friends, he like, man, what can I do in the house? I say, I don't know, find out something to do. He decided to leave garages. So I had to come follow the garage guy, see how it looked, and then he do all my garages. You know, so that's the type of deal I look at, like, if we was in a system to where, how can I do to help the next man, family, people that look like me that I know, get involved. So truthfully, the neighbor, he like literally, hey man, let me cut your grass. So when he did cut my grass in one of the houses, so now I just put in our package, when we do a $150 grass cutting, part of our little gangster tag. And so he the guy that we pay. So that's he gets 3 cuts. So he do it every single house, and we pay $150 per month, $50, $50. Yeah, after that, the homeowner can decide to stay with him if they want to. So those are the stuff we do, and that's Mr. Wright on Goose Street. He's done everybody's houses over there. You know what I'm saying? So we just trying to find ways we can help people in the neighborhood, and people want to build. And a lot of guys, and I didn't realize we have leftover wood, they'll come in and they want to fix their houses. So instead of giving them credit back for the wood, we just give them wood. They want to fix their houses. But we pay brothers and sisters, whoever, they want to come in and haul off on the work and get paid for it. I'm cool with that, you know. So we end up putting together a little small construction deal called You Call, We Haul. And we just bought some trucks and some dumpsters. I just started hiring brothers on the street. You're gonna make today money. That's what I call it. You make $200 or $300 a day. You know what I'm saying? Pick up, clean up the sites, and when you get paid today, you come out. You might come back tomorrow, you might not. But you got opportunity to make today money. So that's the different tiers we look at. And hopefully we just have somebody inspire somebody else to keep on going and going.
Good deal. Appreciate it. Thanks for the question.
First of all, thank you all for presenting this information. This is awesome. And thank you for the collaboration we're trying to do in the community. I do have one question, though, regarding, I hear you say you're collaborating with some banking institutions. But my concern is this: is it where people have to go to the bank to get the information? What type of outreach are you doing? Like the gentleman in the end was explaining some of the things he's doing to reach out to the community to assist them in getting awareness of the jobs and that sort of thing. So what type of outreach are you actually doing and going to the community to make them aware of this program that's coming, the housing that's coming in their neighborhoods? I'm not seeing a lot of PR about it. So, I mean, what type of advertising are you doing for that to let them know that your educational programs are here and available to you for first-time homeowners? Not only for first-time homeowners, I find that a lot of them are having issues with, while it makes sense financially to say, oh, I'm paying $2,000 or $2,400 in rent, I could be putting that towards a house, but a lot of them don't want the responsibility of home ownership. And are we doing anything with outreach and educating them on what the homeownership responsibility is, maintenance, et cetera, for those that are living in apartments right now?
You know what's crazy is we do the village round table when we get more lots from the city. We come out and we'll go to the neighborhood, and our action item is called the Community First Home Buyers Initiative. So what we do is we don't sell none of our properties without, and depending on the zip code we in, we don't sell for the first 30 days. We give the people the zip code first ops on all the properties. And we just go do HOA, we'll walk through, talk to people in the neighborhood. And a lot of our homes come from just talking to everyday people in the neighborhood. So somebody been there forever, their kids, you renting, the next thing you know, the they live next door to their parents. So it's one of those type of deals with us, other than social media, but we do the outreach program on that type. And the main deal though is what you saying, the maintenance of the home, boy. So we make sure we do quality homes. And we do quality control checks on all our homes. Like I literally go out and walk and take my shoes off and walk in the grass. Just like on every home I built. I got a team to do it. But what I do for the home buyers who don't know, because a lot of them don't know. Like I get so many calls. I personally give my number. People like, you crazy. But we make sure that know it's your HVAC system, this is what it looks like. So when they come out of the house they buy, we got a checklist sheet. And we do a whole walkthrough before they go to the house and say, this is going on, this is going on. And I tell them, call us first before you call your warranty. We don't want our warranty spiked up. We don't have many issues, but the main deal is, and I'm encouraging y'all to do it, y'all might have to have time, because I got so many homes. But I make sure I have a personal relationship with the home buyer, and then let them know if something happens to your house, let us know immediately. We'll come out and fix it. We got 48 hours to come out. And you'll see how people work with you, and then they'll start understanding the issue with their home. So, but we give them an overview. If your electricity is this, make sure you see the GFIs. If your plumbing feel like got a clog or something going down slow or something like that, call us up, or we'll come get a snake and run through, whatever it is, something like that. The main thing is just let them, do our checklist, we say, this can possibly happen, this can happen, this can happen. You know, to me, we've been having great success doing that and cutting down a lot of the calls on like what happened. But if something really happened in the house, of course, we fix it. So people just don't really know it because they never own the house. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying,
we deal with every case.
yeah, he got it. Like, I bought my first house. I've been living in it now for 13 years. It didn't come with no manual. I had to go on YouTube University to figure all that out. And I'm real inquisitive. But you're right. Like, I think I should start a sign-up program for people that are interested in buying houses and start pre-vetting and making sure they get their finances in check. Because I got 18 months. 18 months before I start selling lots to the home builder. And it's going to take them at least 3 months to build a house before they start selling. So I have a little bit of lead time before I get to where you're at. But you have a good point. It's a fair question. So I mean, think about what kind of program to help, because good idea for marketing, to help bring in people and help prove that, hey, you want to be able to buy a house? Okay, come bring your finances, bring your checkbook. Let's figure some of this stuff out.
I am open to developing a program here in UNT Dallas. What's that?
She had a question.
We'll talk about this day.
All right, we have one, Councilwoman, one last question,
So you guys asked if there are programs, financial literacy programs. I have done financial literacy programs in my office. My challenge is our people will not come to them.
Yes, indeed.
I have yet to find a lot of people within this area. We offered Cross Bank down the street has a financial literacy program. So does PNC Bank. They just opened up, we did ribbon cutting Wednesday. They too have a financial literacy program. When I left them, the area manager as well as the branch manager said to me, I have money. I want to loan money to this community for housing. I've already introduced them to Innovate because I gave her such a hard time in trying to get the right product. I need to make sure the houses are sold. So we have financial literacy programs, go across banks, go to PNC. I have another one in my office, if that's what we want, if the hours are not conducive at the bank, I'll bring the bank to the community. I know that the challenge is in our community is sometimes it's the financial literacy piece. If we don't help our children before when you go to college, the first thing you do is you see a bank roll up and you want to give them a credit card and checkbook. But if you don't know what to do with that credit card and that checkbook, you're going to be in financial problems before you can even buy get an apartment to buy a house. So I'm open. And you guys have suggestions, I'll work with you.
Got you. Well, thank you, Councilwoman, and we're not going to finish this discussion, but I do want to dismiss the talents. What we will do, because if you all want to eat, you all deserve y'all food. I want y'all to at least have a second. Give a round of applause. I want Mr. West, Maurice West, to come make final remarks, but we can continue this discussion. If you want to continue to have this discussion, I know you've had a couple questions. We can have a discussion. through the microphones amongst ourselves at the table. All right? But I do want us to have a time, an ending, and respect you all's time.
That's exactly what it is, and watch how quick we do it. Each of you signed in. If you didn't, make sure you do. The African American Leadership Institute's primary goal is to provide information, to access resources, to connect the dots. And as you mentioned, we won't get it done in one day. And you wouldn't want us to get it done in one day. Because oftentimes people feel that they have the day, check the box, get going. We will continue to offer these programs, these ideas, and these opportunities. Thank each and every one of you for bringing your talent. But we need you. Sometimes we won't be able to do it on Thursday. Some of you have to work. So we're going to open our doors on a Saturday morning in different locations to provide it. Because we need people to be empowered. We need people informed on housing issues. Mr. Brown is part of our great team that does that. Mr. Thomas, we've got to do the work in civic engagement. So all of this is a holistic approach to everything happening. And I know what you want to talk about. Because in the building phase, that's a good way. So thank you for being here on Thursday. Grab some lunch, continue the conversation.
Let's try that or something. I understand.
My word is like, Friday, but we need you. And we need everyone else in the room that's thinking about ideas of empowerment, economic development, ownership, and just lifting one another. So we look forward to talking to you again. Very soon?
Very soon.
Very soon. We're thinking June, July. Because this will happen on a bi-monthly basis for a while. We do a fall summit that kind of encapsulates a lot of topics, but it's important to do it in between. So look forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. West. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, community members. Thank you, supporters, both from the past, present, and future. Please, let's not close this discussion. If you all want something to eat, please grab something. And if y'all have any other questions, we have an open microphone. The formal event is